Hi, I'm Magical. Um, so I'm filming this video to do a tarot reading, another tarot reading about Tana Mongeau and Jake Paul. And I don't know if you guys know this, but I was an OG fan of Tana Mongeau. I was a fan of hers before the whole world even knew who she was. Like back when, like, no one knew who she was. Like, I was a fan of hers. I started watching her back in like 2016, I think. You know, when probably before she even had 1 million subscribers. Probably when she had like somewhere between 100,000 and 300,000 subscribers, and I thought she was so cool and so authentic. But I do not think that Tana is a very authentic person, and I do not. I don't even want to talk about it. I just think that Tana and Jake charging $50 for that live stream of that wedding was wrong. And with that being said, let's get into the reading. So, my first question is, and I'm only asking about Tana Mongeau and Jake Paul right now. I'm only asking, was Tana Mongeau upset when she found out that Jake Paul had lunch with Erica from Twitter instead of from Jake Paul himself? Answer that question for me, sourcing all of my spirit guides through the tarot cards. I bless these tarot cards with the position of light. Oh, crap. She was upset. Then she was thinking about the past. She was heartbroken. Okay. So it says that she was having sleepless nights, thinking about the past a lot, and she was heartbroken. Strange. I didn't really expect her to be that upset. Because, I mean, I actually just asked this question before I made this video, and I got different cards. I got the Knight of Pentacles, the Eight of Cups, and then the Page of Cups, which made me think that she wasn't really that upset and that now she's doing pretty good. So, I don't know, maybe it's kind of mixed. I don't know why the tarot cards would give me such varied cards for the same question. I think the first time I asked is probably more accurate. That she's probably not really that upset. I mean, she probably never really was all that upset. The first time I asked this question, I basically got that Tana and Jake talked about it, and she was waiting patiently to hear back from Jake for a while, or maybe not even really waiting patiently, but she was waiting to hear back from Jake about you know, what he had to say about it. And then she did some soul searching and tried to figure out what kind of dynamic she wants for this relationship. And then ultimately, after doing her soul searching, she became the Page of Cups and is doing pretty much all better now. With regards to the Jake Paul situation, anyway. I know she is still grieving over her grandmother's death, which I cannot believe I actually kind of predicted her grandma dying. Not really, but I mean, I didn't really predict her grandma dying, but I did get the death card in my last reading about Tana and Jake, and I did not think that the death card was going to be literal, but I thought it might be possible that a relative of hers could die. And I just hate that. I hate when the death card is an actual literal death of someone. Because the death card does not always have to be a literal death. Sometimes the death card just means the death of, like, a specific job you had. Like, it might mean, you know, this job is going to end, but, you know, you're going to get a new job or something like that. You know, like a metaphorical death. But this was a literal death, which is spooky. Can't believe I actually got that card. But I mean, it makes sense that card would pop up because her grandma died like right after the wedding. So I guess that knowledge was trying to make its way to all of us who, you know, to me and to anyone who watched the video. Damn. That makes me feel really bad now, like, I didn't really think anything of that card when I got it, but, like, I guess I'm just starting to think, what if I could have told her I got that card, like, on Twitter or something? Could that have maybe prevented her grandma from dying? Like, maybe they could have checked in on her grandma and been like, are you okay? I don't know. I shouldn't feel bad about it, though, because, I mean, because I did not actually think anyone was going to die. Like, yeah. I thought I was way off base. And also, if I had said that to Tana, she probably would have been offended. She would have been like, no way, no one's gonna die. What are you talking about? This is my wedding day. You're raining on my parade. You know? But yeah, there's nothing I could have really done. And I mean, it was a heart attack, so it was going to happen anyway. I'm assuming she was old anyway, so it was probably just her time. It's sad, though. Damn, tarot can be spooky, you guys. But, I guess let's go ahead and move on to the next question before this video gets too long. I want to try to keep this video under 15 minutes if I can. Was Logan Paul lying when he said that that might be a deep fake of Jake Paul and not a picture of the real Jake Paul eating lunch with Erica? On Twitter, in the picture that Tana was talking about. Answer that question for me, source on my spirit, guys. I bless you, service, appreciation, and of the night. Well, this is the first card I got, which makes me feel like Logan is just, like, confused. Like, he doesn't really know if it was real or not. But I think, then because this card is followed, I think Logan is leaning towards the possibility that it was a deep fake. So I don't think that Logan was actually really lying when he said that it might be a deep fake. I think Logan, for some weird reason, actually thinks that it could have been a deep fake. But he's not sure. He's confused about it. It's like Logan, but then also this card makes me think Logan is like, you know, on the defensive for his brother. You know, the way this guy is standing, he's like marking his territory. Like, you know, I think Logan is the type of person who will defend their brother, you know, pretty much no matter what. Which I don't really get, because, I mean, the Paul brothers, they defend each other a lot, but they defend each other to the point where it's more like enabling than defending. You know, there's a line that where defending becomes enabling, and I think that the Paul brothers cross over the line of defending into just enabling each other's bad behavior. Like, why are you defending Jake about this? Why would one of your first thoughts be, oh, it's probably a deepfake? That's not really him. You know, why aren't you considering that it probably was him? It's unlikely it was a deepfake. Although I suppose anything's possible. And yeah, that why aren't you kind of like calling him out more? Like, why aren't you saying if that was him, that was wrong? You know, he didn't even say if that was him, that was wrong. He was just like, I think it's probably it might be a deep fake. Like, you know, I don't really know. He was just like, could be a deep fake. He didn't even say if he thought that was wrong behavior from Jake. Like, those guys are kind of everything that's wrong with YouTube if you think about it. Like with YouTubers. There's a lot of YouTubers who were just lovely, amazing people, but people like the Pauls make us all look really bad. So, anyway, is Tana Mongeau still currently upset that she heard about Jake Paul getting lunch with Erica from Twitter instead of from Jake Paul himself? Answer that question for me, Source, and all of my spirit guides that bless these terrors of your stream prayer light. We got ooh, this is juicy. Wheel of Fortune. So Tana is kind of like just seeing how things will go right now. She's sort of going with the flow, basically, just kind of seeing how things will play out, seeing if Jake will do better. Tana is going to see if Jake will do better right now. Also, I think this whole event was fated to happen. Like, this has been something in the making of being manifested for a while, Jake doing something like this, and I feel like it's kind of to tell Tana about his character before she's in too deep, if you know what I mean. Because we have the Devil followed by the Wheel of Fortune, which tells me right away that Tana Mongeau is extraordinarily attached to Jake Paul. I think Jake is also extraordinarily attached to Tana, but I think Jake is very toxic. So the way that he I mean, Jake, I still think that Jake is in love with Tana because that is what the tarot card said before when I asked a few videos ago. But the thing is, when you're a toxic person, you show your love in really messed up ways. And that's by doing things that are messed up. By being toxic. That's by being toxic. And so he is destructive towards Tana, and Tana is attached and being self-destructive just by being in a relationship with him because he is so toxic. And this card tells me that this relationship is really unhealthy. Like really, really, really unhealthy. And I feel like there's a lot of stuff that probably goes on behind closed doors between these two that is probably really bad. Like, I think Tana is honestly in trouble. Like, I think that Tana is actually in true danger getting this card. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I mean, this card does not always mean a severely toxic relationship. Sometimes it just means, sometimes this card can just mean that you are like so into a person that you're like addicted to them. Like it might not be a toxic kind of addiction. It might just be like a, gosh, I'm just so addicted to you. Like, I just want to spend every minute with you, but it is still a card of obsession. And, obsession, I think it's good to be obsessed with who you're in a relationship with, as long as that obsession does not become something where you are treating a person in a mean way whenever they do something you don't like or but I feel like in this situation with Tana and Jake, it probably is on the toxic side of this card. So that's not good. And then I feel like since we got this card as the last card after the Devil card, I feel like Tana is kind of just like really confused. Like she doesn't really know how to feel and she's just lost. So I don't think... This tells me Tana is neither upset nor okay, most likely, with what happened with the whole Erica thing. I feel like she's just kind of like blah, just like, just like blah. Like, I don't know. I don't know what to do. And I don't want to think about it. I think that's what she's feeling. Like, I just have a lot going on right now. I think that's what she's feeling. But, I could be wrong about that. Now, what else do I want to know? I think this is going to be my last question because this video is about to be 20 minutes. So this is going to be my last question, and then if I think of any other questions, I'll make another video. Did Tana Mongeau and Jake Paul break up? Answer that question for me. Source and all of my spirit guesses, besties, turquoise, diversity, fill blank. No. They did not break up. They're still in a relationship together. This is a card of having a past life connection with someone. It's a card of... This card means that you are a soulmate with, someone else. Basically, this card means that this person is your soulmate if you ever get this card for yourself. So this tells me that even though no one in the whole frickin' world wants to believe it, I don't think the cards would be telling me all of this stuff if it wasn't actually the case. Because the cards are usually pretty accurate for me. So I feel like whether or not people want to believe it, Tana Mongeau and Jake Paul are soulmates, and they probably had a past life together as well. And they do have a true, deep connection with each other, even though their relationship is really messed up and probably, and even though their relationship is probably really unhealthy, although I do not know for sure just how unhealthy their relationship is. This card tells me that Tana Mongeau and Jake Paul are still in a relationship. And there is still a deep connection between Tana Mongeau and Jake Paul. Now that goes for the relationship, but I just realized there's a much more specific way to ask this. Are Tana Mongeau and Jake Paul still married in their eyes, according to what they believe that marriage is, since it is not a legal marriage? Answer that question for me, source and all my spirit guides. I bless these tarot cards with pure source and pure love and light. I bless these tarot cards with pure source and pure light. I bless these tarot cards with pure source and pure love and light. Yes. I think so. I think this would be a yes. It kind of reminds me of like a judge and two people like at an altar, and then you have the scales, so maybe it's kind of like they see it as legal. I don't know the yes or no meaning for this card though, but I want to say it means yes. So yeah, let me see if I can look up the yes or no meaning for the, I'm just gonna look that up real quick. 6 of Pentacles. My laptop is so slow. I think it means yes. But I want to tell you guys what someone who has much more experience reading tarot cards than me has to say about it, because I've only been reading tarot cards